Katherine, I'll try to follow that. I have a question for the leader that relates to reform. Not Seanad reform, as I've made my views very clear in relation to that. Not Dáil reform either, and we await what the government is up to in that regard. And no doubt we will have a long debate, hopefully it will be long, to see whether or not the people will be promised sufficient Dáil reform to ensure proper governance of the country, including an adequate dispersal of power from the executive. But my question instead is about taxation reform. Colleagues, I know you are aware of the series of the events that have brought us, that have brought the issue of tax avoidance, reform of global tax structure, and Ireland's place within it back into the news. And in particular, Ireland's name has been thrust into the debate of tax avoidance in the G8 nations, with our tax arrangements being singled out in the US and the UK legislators. I think there exists massive public confusion on this issue, particularly since the US Senate subcommittee hearings on the Apple's tax practices. They testified that they claimed a special deal with us. The government rebutted that. The video conferencing over the Atlantic Ocean, I think, still hasn't cleared up these issues. And one of my primary, though not sole concerns, has to do with the double Irish structure, which allows a multinational to incorporate a company here, but to ensure its tax residence elsewhere. That's the clearest I could state what that means. Is this a shadowy facilitation of tax avoidance for multinationals by Ireland? Are we investment friendly with our claimed corporate tax rate of 12.5%, or are we a tax haven? Will the government be disbanding the double Irish tax structure soon, as some of the Sunday papers have claimed? We need to know the answers to these questions, and there needs to be a public debate, and one that outlines clearly exactly what's going on. So I'm coming to my question. I think it's clear from the UK, the USA, the Australia, momentum is building for some kind of reform of global tax arrangements, and David Cameron has pledged to put the reform on the G8 schedule. And there will be an OPEC action plan presented at the G8 summit that will map out a path to closing loopholes and combating large-scale tax avoidance. So will the leader ask the Minister for Enterprise or the Minister for Finance to come into the House prior to the G8 summit in mid-June to debate with us and to clarify how will Ireland respond?